Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Straight Up Show podcast. It's our first Music Monday of 2021. And, our last Music Monday artist that we had was Haley Brooke, a local friend of mine back in my hometown. And she mentioned a band that I really wanted to have on the show. And finally, I'm proud to say that I have them. So I don't want to waste any time. These guys are from my hometown, been following for a long while. If you haven't heard them, I promise you after today, you will hear them. And I promise you, I bet money that you will love their music. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the great band Shayliff. How you guys doing today?
What's going on?
How you doing, Calvin?
And specifically, we have Michael Brown and Shay Bailiff. Michael is the guitarist and Shay is the lead singer and guitarist as well. So how you guys doing today? You doing all right today?
Man, we're enjoying the good weather while we got it. That's for sure.
We are.
and
30 in the morning, 6-5 night.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to you guys. Hope 2020 is going to be a great year for all you all and your families.
Sure. Hey, we hope so. I think everybody's ready for 2020 to kind of, move past us.
Yeah, move past us, behind us, no more. So I've been bugging y'all and harassing y'all about coming on our show. Like, we've worked together before, media, but just not to this aspect to where I'm in control. So, like I said, once again, thank you so much for coming on our show, and thank you for taking my harassment from y'all. So you can drop the lawsuit.
Thank you for having us.
You can drop the harassment. So on our last Music Monday back in 2020, I had a good friend of y'all's, Haley Brooke, and one thing she told me that she shared the stage with you, Shay, a lot, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Of course, her older brother's Grayson and I's best friend, so we grew up with him and her. And whenever we started playing music, Grayson and I, we were 15 years old. And not long after, we were both playing in churches, sharing the same circles. And so all the musicians, you pretty much, it was inevitable you were going to be playing on stage together. And, church bands, there's usually 10 members up there at a time, but Haley actually, our first 4 years of playing music heavily, which for me heavily was like 4 times a week when we were in high school. Three out of the 4 days we were playing on stage with her. So she was basically, in my opinion, we were in a band together. I think she said that we'd never been in a band together, but I got to call you out on that. Hey, we just didn't have a name. We just didn't have a band name.
Well, she's a phenomenal talent, and like I said, this Music Monday, it
has
has
a CD with both of y'all on it. I have to say that.
Wait,
I don't remember what it was. Wasn't there a CD with both of y'all on it from church somewhere?
There might have been. Yeah, there was a live album that we did. I can't remember the name of it, but we were like 18 years old. But yeah, no, she's, like I said, we were never officially, the band was never titled, but we happened to play so much on stage together. We probably should have started an official band, but it was cool watching her progress throughout the years. And I tell her whenever we run into her, it's like, hey, I'm glad to see another friend of mine who has been playing music as long as I have that hadn't stopped. She's still hitting it.
Right. Yep. And funny enough, it's actually how I met her is at one of your shows. That's how I met her. And I saw her because I'm like, who is this white girl with dreads? And it was like, and then I was like, then I was like, wait. She has a power to that punch. Or you know what? Forget it. Those dreads are respected.
Yeah, for sure.
But, she's a phenomenal talent. And the crazy thing about all this is that I told this back in the day with Josh Munns, like, you all like the third and fourth members of the Evangel Eagle Club that's been on our show. And I said that, it seems like either you go to the Evangel is the unofficial performing arts school of Louisiana, I think, because it's like if you go to Evangel, you're either going to be a NFL star or a rock star or just a phenomenal talent that nobody else in the city can have. And so, so that's kind of like you guys are like the just kind of keeping the streak going. That I have Evangel Eagles on my
And
So
it's interesting. I mean, it is really, they cultivate that, and not only if they feel like, you should be performing or playing, they're going to really push you, to do it. I mean, and that's one reason why we started off playing music so frequently, 3 to 4 times a week I thought that was normal, but they just expect you to be a part of every event. They want you to get better and better. I mean, in a way, you know, they do that. They continue to cultivate that atmosphere.
yeah, and like I said, I love Danny Duran, the Duran family, and I worked with
Yeah.
them previously in media, so I mean I know how they carry themselves, and so just to see the legacy through all their students and all their church members, man, got to give big props to the Duran family.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just kind of tell us, like, who is Shayliff? Like, how did Shayliff start? Who are you guys?
Man,
Take,
we
take them away.
so yeah, Grayson and I, like I said earlier, we started playing together since we were ages 15. I started off as a 2-man band, and we were awful, but the group that was at our church was my mom and dad. They helped start this youth group out in Stonewall, and we had a house band that would come and play. Well, they just quit coming, like, out of the blue, and so Gray and I started to fill in. It was pretty rough, and we just continued to do it every week for years and years. And then, the long story short, I started learning to speak Korean my high school year, started studying Korean, and my Korean friends pressured me. They're like, hey, you need to learn a Korean song, a cover song, put it on the internet. And so I finally did that, and that took me, I ended up, a year later in Korea because of that video. And but I got frustrated over there with the process of the songwriting. It just wasn't what I wanted to do stylistically. And so I began to write music over there for this future project. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I've always kind of written songs. So I had these handful of songs. The Korean thing went south, no pun intended, towards the end. And so when I came back, I just told the guys, I was like, hey, I'd known Jacob and I knew Michael. We had played tennis here and there at Evangel in the past. We weren't like super close, but we were familiar with each other. And I
No,
came
man,
back.
you knocked out.
What's that?
No, I was going to say you used to knock out "All I Need Is You," and I digged that real hard back in the church days.
Oh yeah, yeah. We came back, and I told the guys, I was like, man, I've been doing the TV radio thing, doing music that I'm expected to do or that these guys think is going to sell. I was just miserable. I was like, I just want to write the music that we want to write. Like, let's form a band and see where it goes. I kind of have an idea of the industry in a way and how to approach it. And so we just started, practicing 3 days a week, like 5 hours at a time, and just booking shows and slowly developing our songwriting. And man, I guess what, Michael, 8 to 10 years later, still.
Yeah, I was 19 when we
together.
started, and I'm 29 now, so it's been about 10 years.
And so
Yeah, the X's. Had to get the X's on your hands in the early days.
Yeah,
So you came back. You were, in my eyes, because I saw your previous stuff from Korea, MTV Korea,
Yeah.
and so you came back home, started a band with your brother Michael, and previous member Jacob. So you guys got this mega band for 10 years now. A happy 10-year anniversary, I guess.
thanks.
But Michael, just exclude Shay for right now. But can you just tell us right now who are the members of Shayliff, and tell us kind of like briefly like who they are?
Current lineup?
Yes, current
Is that what you're
lineup.
asking? Yeah, it's me. I'm on guitar, and I sing a little backup and play little keys when I need to. Otherwise, we've got Gray, a twin brother, on the drums of Mr. Shay Bailiff, singing up front. And we also have Morgan Fayard playing bass for us. He does some backup vocals as well. And we have our bud Tim playing auxiliary for the most part. He broke a shaker at the last show, so he plays hard for us.
Yeah, and
And Morgan's been with us, for 3 years, you'd say? 3 years now?
Think a little longer.
Gotcha.
and
Feels like 3 years. Might have been 5.
So thank you, Michael, for telling us. And then you said that Morgan's been with y'all for 3 years. I mean, what about who was with y'all when you first started?
Yeah, it was my bud Jacob McGarry. He pulled me up one night at his house and asked if I wanted to play some money. No, I want to play music, making money. I was like, yeah, I guess I do. But we split ways, I think, early 2016. And at that point, Morgan was playing what Tim did. And he ended up sliding into that role. And now we have Tim. So that's good.
And funny enough,
Yeah, so I guess that'd be 5 years then for Morgan. Great job, Morgan.
Yeah, I think so.
Stuck around.
Yeah.
wow, Morgan stuck
Watch
around.
out.
And funny enough about Tim is actually my high school graduate, classmate.
Oh, what?
We graduated
Really?
together, yeah. And
I didn't know that.
yeah,
You saw Tim play BuzzFest? I've heard
You
about
might
this.
have some stories.
yeah. Tim killed it at BuzzFest, and the thing is that Tim and I was trying to sing, back in my Metallica filling days, and Tim played guitar for me for the Unforgiven.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, for the Unforgiven,
What?
and I butchered it. It was horrible because they was not feeling the Unforgiven because it's like a slow song, and I was like, yeah, never mind, because I was thinking that I can go as deep as James Hetfield, and it didn't work out.
Hey,
too
man, I
good.
didn't know this. You got
Yeah,
history with our boy Tim then.
But the thing about it is they had to learn the Unforgiven in like 15 minutes, and that's why it butchered it bad, So it was horrible. Yeah.
Where's the audio recording? I got to hear this.
Oh, I didn't make it past tryouts, man. It was bad.
Okay.
I didn't make it past tryouts. They said no. This big black guy singing Metallica. Nah, we're good. But no, that's Shayliff, guys, and we're gonna have a little bit more of Shayliff on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
Don't believe in what you do. You're liking to me. I'd be okay with only one thing he said. That's a Terry, he got roped on. She's a love man, he's a drunk on. That's deceiving, keep me secret. I don't want you, but you're my only friend.
Tired of the same old boring clothes? Want to support your favorite podcast but don't know how? Well, you're in luck. The Straight Up Show podcast store is finally here. In our Teespring shop, you can find all the merch that tells the world you're keeping it straight up. From t-shirts to masks to even leggings, our store has you covered. Just visit straightupshowpodcast.com and click that merchandise button. That's STR8 upshowpodcast.com.
Okay, so upon doing my research, I saw you all on the other podcast with I think it's Justin, right?
Yeah.
Next album, please. Shout out to him. But he said something about y'all's music because he's in California and he heard y'all through networking, of course, and social media. They said that No Fly Zone, which is your latest album, is probably the best album of modern rock of 2019. And I want to have to go off the record and say, hey, I agree with him because that was a awesome piece of work. And knowing the work that y'all put in over the years to get that album done, Michael, I mean, this is my first time finding out that you wrote music. And you had one of my favorite songs on there, Dots and Lines.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we had a few of them written early on, and we tracked those in Nashville with Paul, and that was The One, Bride, and Brazen Tom, and then we moved on. few years later, God, to the rest of the songs. And yeah, Dots and Lines had just kind of come together. I don't really know. I just kind of had something, and it sounded way better with Shay singing it. So it was on the chopping block. But yeah, it was fun to write, but it was cool to pull all those songs together, and really have like something that had solidified itself with us. Like, those were at the time like songs where people were coming out to see, kind of thing, because they weren't recorded back then. So like people had kind of attached themselves to them, and that was fun for us, I think, for No Fly Zone.
Yeah. And I'm like the unofficial like Shayliff fanboy right now. Because I mean, I like good music, man. And it's not just, I come from a DJ and hip hop background. And to you all to attract me with music and rock music, it's hard, because I'm very critical of music, if you haven't
Right.
heard of our previous podcast. Like I said, No Fly Zone was definitely, I think y'all can really rank it as one of y'all's biggest success to me. Because that was phenomenal. The artwork was done,
Thanks, yeah.
and like it's an album that you can hear from, start to finish and not get tired of a song. Michael,
Right.
this is the question I was going to ask you. I've been wanting to ask you for a while.
Okay.
Like, what's the meaning behind Dots and Lines? And like, where were you when you wrote this? Because you have a solo in Dots and Lines, and it's like with me, like I don't listen to not necessarily the lyrics, but I can feel your emotion when you're having your solo. I can feel what you are writing, and you were able to capture that with that song.
Oh man, that's awesome. I don't know. It was really all, as bad as it sounds, it was really all built around that solo. I had that like piece musically just kind of sat that I didn't really know what to do with. And I got to the point where I had pieced together a few other parts, just like that main chorus part, just the melody of it or whatever. I had that sitting around, and it kind of all came together. As far as the words go, lyrically, it meant things to me. I'm bad about really rolling the dice on lyrics sometimes. But I mean, it had certain situations. I was talking about running downstairs with somebody, like those were vivid memories of me and people leaving places or whatever, like that kind of thing. It was very put you in the moment to talk about, being far away and watching things kind of play out in a situation. But I appreciate the kind words about the song, man.
No, man. It's, I respect you as a guitarist, man, because when I see you perform live, I can just tell you're lost in your music, and that's what I love about y'all, especially you, Michael, because you get lost in your music. And the thing about it, all right, don't take this the wrong way, and this is how old I am.
No.
So, like when I was
I'm
younger,
excited.
there used to be, you remember like Cartoon Network, they used to have a show called Two Stupid Dogs, right? And
Yes.
and there was a dog you could never see his face, right? And he had his hair over his eyes, right?
Yeah.
And that's Michael. Like,
That ties together so well.
amazing.
yeah.
That's
So I'm
what we were going for this whole time.
I'm like, where's Michael's eyes at? You can never see Michael's eyes because his hair is over your face. So you never can see your hair or your nose when you're performing. And I liked it because it's like it adds that to unique, and then like
That beautiful hair, man. Just
beautiful
flopping
hair,
around.
just that
Hang on
herbal
to it.
essence hair. And so, like I said, Dots and Lines definitely stood out to me. And actually, it's the song that I look forward to when I see y'all perform. I think when y'all debuted that song is when I met Haley at the El Dorado.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's when y'all first debuted
Remember
that song.
night?
And so I
Remember
was
that
like,
night.
wow, man, y'all got me hooked. So now in the hot seat is Mr. Shay Bailiff. So first off, I have to ask you this question, okay? Do you know how great you are? This is an honest question. No, I'm being serious.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know. I've never been asked that before. Well, yes, I'm the best.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, do you really know how great and talented you really are?
Man, I appreciate that for sure. I mean, it's one of those things. as a vocalist, especially in my opinion, especially somebody who didn't start off singing since he was a kid. You know, I started singing when I was 15 and just bit the dust so many times on stage as far as performance goes. It was such hard work to be able to get to where I could sing in pitch and things like that. It didn't come natural. It didn't feel like it came natural for me. But about the 4th year into it, I got in like a rhythm where I was like, okay, I feel confident about what I'm putting out, you know, but you never know how people are going to take it, or if you are, you know, you just don't know. But I would say I don't know. It's one of those things, because our style is sometimes I'm screaming, sometimes I'm making strange noises. So I'm like, that may be a turn off to some people and a turn on to others. But there's certain things that'll keep me going. And one of them is when we recorded at the Smokestack with Paul Moak in Nashville for the first time. And I recorded the one, and he walked in the room, shook my hand, and was like, that's world-class performance right there. And so those are so to answer your question in more of a, I guess, obscure kind of way, I use events like that to keep me going, to know for sure, am I okay at this or not? Because, well, he said that, so okay, you know.
Right. And like that was just to tag onto that, like that wasn't like the prettiest thing you've ever done in that take. Like,
Right.
it
Yeah,
wasn't like it
all
was,
live.
you know, yeah, it was super raw. It had plenty of scratchy parts. Like, it wasn't like it was this pristine sound. Like, it was emotional. And I think that's what my favorite part is about Shay.
And funny enough, Shay, and actually this is like the biggest question I've been wanting to ask you for years, because honestly, you all have what, 3 albums, I think, right now? It's 3 albums, right?
Yeah.
3 albums,
That's right.
maybe what, over 70 songs, probably more than that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and
Probably.
it's
many.
like too many songs. I'm pretty sure y'all have some stuff y'all haven't showed people.
Yeah.
And trust me, because you're like, wait a minute, Grayson, I know you're listening, but you know we talk. We would talk for like 3 hours a night, and just about random stuff, man. He would always tell me that he's excited about y'all's new stuff, and thank you for keeping me up until 4 a.m. Even though you have to work earlier than I do.
He'll do it.
I know, even though you have to work earlier than I do, but so yeah, I'm snitching now. Like, hey, hey, Shade, Grayson was up all night talking to me.
That's great.
I'm snitching. But no, but Shay, actually, one of my favorite songs out of all your songs is The One. And like I said, I say you're great because I'm gonna play this right quick. And this is, out of that whole song, this is what stood out the most. Hold on. When you hit that falsetto right there, like that in itself, because you did the bridge, and then you just hit the falsetto right there, and like every time, like just that one part of that song, just like, dang man, he is a bad boy. Like, seriously, like, because seriously,
man.
that's hard to go from rock to screaming rock, and then you just kind of hit that falsetto. Like, I don't know how you do it.
It's the falsetto stuff for me I would say that part of singing came more natural to me than everything else. So I felt like I had that down the most before I learned, like, actually developed my, chest voice and all that stuff there. So I finally, of course you tamper with it. You play with your voice for hours or years, and you finally figure out how to connect all of them together seamlessly within a song, so the song Like the One, I think it's probably why it's the most fun for me, because I was able to throw like 4 different vocal techniques all into one song and tie them in together. But it's not a song, we wouldn't have been able to pull that off on our first or second album. I think we kind of started to get into that sound a little more kind of an open sound like you hear on this third album.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, that song in itself, to me, that showcases your talent. How you can transition like that, and
Thanks, man.
like I said, just if I never heard y'all's music ever, like that would just connect me. And like the thing with Shayliff, y'all. Okay, so you ever buy like Domino's pizza or like Pizza Hut pizza, and then you keep it overnight, and it doesn't taste as good the next day.
Yeah,
like that's kind of how you guys are. You guys replicate. You can like hear your music on audio, but you sound just as better live, and it's kind of hard to do that because some
Thank
people,
you,
they record their music and they sound horrible live, but and that's me being honest. That's me being straight up with you.
Yeah,
But,
I've heard those guys before.
and the thing is like you guys were able to replicate that. It's not stale
Thank you,
pizza.
man. That means a lot.
You guys, like, it's what you hear in the audio is the same exact what you hear. That and one thing I got to correct you on, Shay, and I already texted this to you already. You said that y'all mostly rock. Man, I don't care what you say, man. Like you got you Michael, and we already know how Morgan is, but y'all have soul, and I'm being serious.
Nice.
Like you have a lot of soul, man, and like even with like I'm sure that's a soulful, groovy song, man, and like
It is.
you're grooving, and like of course groove, funk, like y'all have that, and this is like Michael just just in his groove. That's not, to me, it's rock, but as a African American black guy, just I feel the grooviness of it, and I feel the soul of it, especially with the one, like, man, that's soulful, man. That's not just rock. And I'm not just shooting a gun with y'all. I'm being dead ass serious. Like that's
Cool, man. I appreciate that.
That's soul, man. Like I don't know where, but you might have a little 0.1% black in you somewhere. But
We're in America, man. You never know.
Because I'm like, you were because me, when I see you sing, man, I can see your neck veins pop out. I'm like, this boy has some soul, man. And honestly, I'm like, if I can criticize one thing, I think y'all should have some kind of groove and dance, and like Michael grooves. Shay, you not so much, but I'm like, man, I would love to see you like just this little James Brown type groove going on, man.
Yeah,
like
it takes a lot of work, but we'll see.
Like I said, I'm a big fan of
Shay groove a time or two.
No, Mike, I'm sorry, man. When it comes to dancing skills, I think that's all you, man. But no, like I ride for you guys, man, because I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ background and a radio host, and back in the day, so I hear only like hip hop stuff. But like I said, just to attract me with y'all's music, it's hard, And I mean, I remember riding for y'all, skipping work to go to Barcelona for the Barcelona Spain tournament.
Hell yeah.
And so I know in hip hop, if you go to somebody's like cypher or like freestyle about like kind of like an 8 Mile and you outperform them, they're gonna want to kick your ass. And that's kind of how I felt in Dallas when y'all went to Dallas and y'all were like beating all these other bands. You were beating them bad, man. And like do y'all remember that? Like the other bands were like trying to fight, and they were like not happy that y'all were like winning, because I think it was like a Nickelback producer that was like really impressed with y'all, right?
It was. I didn't think that we were. I didn't think we were going to win that competition, honestly. Especially when I saw because some of those Dallas, especially the Dallas rock and metal bands, they just got their stuff together. And for example, like one group had like a full custom minivan full of like all their own gear, boards. I'm talking MIDI tracks, like everything was lined up. And these people rolled up, and I was like, dude, that just based on the way they look, I was like, we're done. But we've always just taken the approach, and I think it kind of ties into what you're saying earlier, which I appreciate the compliment on the live performance. But when I started playing music, the reason why I got into music in the first place was to play live. And honestly, I hated recording for half of my music career. I couldn't stand the process of it. Until these last 2 full albums that we've done, I've just fallen in love with it, but we've always taken the approach of our live needs to be our strong point. Let's work on that the most. And I guess it came into play that night, but yeah, we were terrified.
Yeah, that Barcelona tournament that y'all had to compete to go to Barcelona to open up for Tool, right? Was it Tool they were opening up for?
I think it was Kings of
Tons
Leon
of people over there.
and somebody else.
Yeah, I forgot, but that would have been awesome if y'all went all the way. Because I was like, man, I remember that night. It just felt like tension in the room, man. Like it was like y'all were. It was really a battle of the bands because y'all were going back and forth, and then like y'all hit him with that trump card, Red Leather Jacket, bam, and then I think Red Leather Jacket is like one of y'all's top songs, but like the judges loved it, man, and like. I think it was Jake Grace was like, man, that's so hard. I don't really like that song. I'm like, oh, well, they like it, And but man, I'm telling you,
it works.
The tension was like high in that room, man. And when y'all won, man was like, hey, who's gonna fight with me? I'm ready to go. Let's do it,
Well, hey, and compliment to you guys because Shreveport really came out for us that night. You guys
Really
made us
did.
y'all made us look good too, man, because we had a hell of a crowd.
Yeah, I remember skipping work for
Yeah,
this.
we really did.
I'm gonna skip work to come see y'all.
Man, we felt the love
Thank
too.
you.
Even had we had lost, I was like, it's still one of the books for me because the whole night, the whole experience was just energy all night. So, and the fact that we walked away with a win, I was like, man, that's just icing on the cake for me.
Yep, and I believe in you guys, and like I said, your support system in Shreveport is phenomenal, and we're gonna talk more about the support and where you're going next on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
I got my headset and my mind red, and I'm gonna get. I got my reset and my regress, and it's gonna hit. Call it an offset or a protest, call it whateverness. But you don't wanna mess with how I'm gonna dress, baby, you never did. I've got my red leather jacket on. 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 I got my headset and my mind red, and I'm gonna get.
A lot of people ask us, what is Straight Up? What is your show about? Well, this world has many voices and we all share this space together, but we have our own opinions and our own identities. But before I answer that question, let me ask you, what does being straight up mean to you?
I think straight up means to be able to speak in a way that is straight up, to be honest and to speak your truth.
Raw, uncut, you know what I mean? It's blunt, straight to the point. This is what it is.
It's just a place to be open and honest, and that's what I appreciate most about it. And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other about things that are going on in the world, because it affects all of us.
Unfiltered, raw, with all the cursing that Calvin does.
Straight up is just being real, telling it like it is, being you.
Being solid, being who you are, no matter what it is, no matter what situation you're faced with. Right, this is who you are. It really speaks to me, saying it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. Straight up.
Unique answers, right? That's why our show is different from any other show that you ever listen to. We embrace the uncomfortable conversations. We accept those who are different from us. But most important, we learn from each other. So join the conversation. But if you do, there's only one rule to our show. You gotta be.
All right, so the Shayliff is an awesome band. I mean, you've heard their music. If you haven't, you will here in a second. If you listen to the show, you know how media works. So you guys are in Shreveport. I supported you all when you had this, Dallas Battle of the Bands tournament, which you won. But the thing is, I've seen you guys lose too. In one particular competition I saw was in Shreveport. I think it was like 20 grand was the grand prize, and I was like, man,
Oh yeah.
y'all should have won that. Because the way you were saying how that Dallas band was, you had it together. That's how y'all were in Shreveport. Like, there's no cut and dry. You guys are just crisp, clean. You groove. You have a stage performer. You're not just stale. You know what I mean? And besides Grayson, but so okay, so real quick. So when I see y'all perform, I always look at y'all's faces, and
Yeah.
Grayson's face, man, just when he has a cigarette in his mouth and he's just chilling and just doing his thing on the drums, like you can tell he's spaced out.
Oh yeah. He's in Grayson world.
He's
for
in Grayson
sure.
world. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But like I said, the thing is that you all, I don't think you get the notoriety enough, and you have a great following in Shreveport. But I'm like, you know what, you guys are the biggest act, in my opinion, out of Shreveport. And I'm finally glad that they were able to get. I think you were like the first local band to have their music played on like the radio, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's K94.5. That's what they told us. They said we were the first.
Yeah, and then,
I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll take it.
I think so. And like I said, just it really ground my gears to see that y'all lost that competition. Like, man, this is rigged. This got to be rigged, man. I was really mad.
It's hard to know.
I really think that when the other band, no dig at them at all, but like I think when the other band like won, like people were like kind of like booing and kind of like, oh, really? This is not. You can tell something was up, and I think that's my last performance I've seen of y'all, but.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you guys are going places, and like, before I even go further, I just want to tell this is personal. Shay, you and I go way back. I forgot what bar it was, but you did a performance at this bar that's no longer around. It's like back off of like Kings Highway. It was like, but me and you just sat at the bar and talked music for like an hour after that. Now, you didn't know me from like anybody. You didn't know me. You didn't know me at all. But
You were cool, man.
Thanks. But I think like that's cool about y'all is that y'all interact with people and you love music. And I was like, man, like, I think and not to make you feel kind of sad or anything, but I think you was thinking about quitting at this time. You were like discouraged about music, and I was like, no, man, you have to keep going, dude. And like, I was like, man, and just to see where you are now. I'm not saying that's what you were planning on doing, but you were like kind of get discouraged because the needle wasn't moving yet. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, dude, look at like it's a small venue, and this is maybe like 7 years ago that we had this conversation. I'm pretty sure you don't remember it, but I was like, no, man, like keep going, like and you were just I think kind of like depressed about it, but you kept to see you like say, you know what, I'm not gonna give up. I want to keep moving. And then I seen you do like the Barcelona competition. I seen you do this, no fly zone, and I think what stood out to me was remembering that conversation that we had. And my 30th birthday was probably like the worst because, I'm in a new city, no friends around, and my friends that were supposed to come didn't come. And, lo and behold, I get a surprise in the mail. It was a copy of, No Fly Zone. And like that goes to show the character of Shay Bailiff. And you didn't know what you were doing. But awesome. Because and that really just like it made me tear up, man. I'm like, wow, you sent me like one of the first copies of your new album, and that's my 30th birthday, and I'll always remember that for my 30th birthday. Is that
that's awesome. That's cool to hear, man.
You gave me that album, and so like even because nobody uses CDs much anymore right now, but
yeah, that's true.
I got a new car, and so like I was like, man, you know what? The only CD in my car is No Fly Zone. Like, and so,
hell yeah.
And so I was like, man, I just love it. Listen, you guys are awesome, man. I want to know right quick this, if you can just, Michael, this probably be your forte. So, like, okay, so this is personal because Grayson is Shay's twin brother,
Yeah.
but you all are twins, but you were born the same day. But it's so crazy how twins work because even though y'all are twins, you can clearly tell who's the oldest by the way y'all interact with each other. And just to see you and Grayson interact with each other, man, like it's like, yeah, it's definitely
Me and Gray.
no, Shay and Gray.
Shay and Gray.
Yeah, Shay and Gray.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, well, definitely, he's the little brother. You can tell. How far apart are y'all? How many minutes?
Grayson is 1 minute older.
He's older. Wait, what?
He's older. Yeah.
I thought he was the youngest. Wow.
Nope,
Why would you think
he's
that?
He's older than me. I just boss him around, man.
Yeah, that's
boss
why.
him around all day.
Because Shay's bossy. But no, like, so who is, okay, let's just ask this question right quick. So who is the troublemaker of the band?
Grayson.
Okay.
All right.
I give him a run for it some days.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends.
Who's who's always late to rehearsal?
Me and Grayson.
Okay. That's so sad.
I'll agree.
All right. So, Michael, what do you think your role in the band is?
Oh God, there's no telling. I'll just try to keep it all in one piece. Really? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just glad to be there. As bad as that sounds, I mean, Shay and Gray have always had something. Like they've been playing years before I was involved. So I mean, to be part of something like that, you get a live feeling. There's a live connection between Gray and Shay playing a guitar and sitting on the drums. Like I can sit in the room and I can feel that. Like I can feel where they're going. I can hang on to it. I like to think I can be part of it. Like it really is a connection. And I mean Morgan too. I mean he falls right in. So like it really is fun to be that. I don't know, like that central synergy maybe.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I don't know. But as far as my role goes, I don't know. There's no telling.
Well, it's become a, really for me, Michael has been it's really, we're the ones who, especially in the last 5 years, are talking all the future plans, business ideas, moving the pendulum. I'm always going to bounce ideas off Michael. So he, you have a bigger part of it maybe than you realize, but I'm sure he's
maybe so.
part
yeah,
of
I mean,
where I feel like we both
right.
kind of steer it together in a way,
Yeah.
Because I'm going to come up with ideas, and I can know that I can throw a bunch of ideas at him, and he's going to say, that one's good. I don't know about that one, and you're going to get what's going to help the overall process of the band. Because if I have a bad idea, I want to know, and that's the beauty of keeping the same members as long as you can too, because there's also that connection of nobody's worried about hurting somebody's feelings or something like that. We really just want to create something great.
I mean, and to that effect, like it's not like screaming matches at each other. Like we've learned how to talk to, we've learned how to communicate effectively. Like there's not a like, hey Shay, that's an awful idea. Go jump off a bridge. Why don't you? Like, no, that's never gonna happen.
Right.
But like, I feel like we understand where each other's coming from, and I think that's important.
That's right. And one thing that stood out to me,
Right.
Shay, was that you was on Next Album Please podcast, and you said that the way, especially when Jacob leaving, you wanted to pick guys not only because of the musicianship, but because of their character too. And,
Yeah.
I think that's the way you specialize in, because outside of Morgan, Michael, and of course Gray, you kind of have to have him in the band. But you have Brandon Hepgood and you have John Earl, and these are two guys that I knew before you. So it's just like it's crazy how you not only pick talented guys, and Tim Powell too, by the way, because Tim's definitely phenomenal, loves music. But then you got John Earl, who came back to Louisiana to do music, And so I knew Earl back when he was in California. You know, y'all known him your whole life, but
Right.
you know, just to see, you know, work with him on music, then see how talented and crazy talented Brandon is. It's like, you know, you have a winning team, man. You have a knack for talent.
Man, it's just one of those things, like, especially with Brendan. And I would say this about the whole band too. I saw obviously a ability to perform, but it was that thing of like the tenacity. I knew that these guys were going to really work at it. They had the right attitude, and I saw the same thing in Brendan. Like, when he came along, he was making beats and he was recording certain things here and there. He was doing YouTube videos and things like that for us. But I just saw this thing in him. I was like, it doesn't matter if I help him out or somebody else helps him out. Like, he's going to get there. I already know that. And I don't know. I just knew it. And, you know, look at him now. He's at the recording at the Smokestack in Nashville, like 5 days a week.
Yeah, I saw that.
There he goes.
I saw that. I was like, man, y'all big time.
So
in
proud of
Nashville. Yeah, y'all big time down in Nashville. That's, man, I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of him too, man. 'Cause I remember being at his house and like he's showing us beats. I'm like, man, like this is kind of hard. Like, 'cause you know I make beats too. But I'm like, man, Brennan, like hey, he was doing hip hop beats, you know, and that's hard to do, you know. And so, man, kudos to him, you know, and Earl too.
Sure.
You know, speaking of Brennan, you know, he's helped produce some of y'all's newest music. Tell us about the newest music that y'all have coming out right now.
Man, I was going to sit on the third album for a while, but at the end of each album, I usually have like 8 songs ready for the next one. And so we'll see what happens, you know, but basically, you know, I'm going to keep writing some music. He's given us the invitation to come back and record, you know, as we please. And so how do you turn that down? So that kind of got us excited. You know, we were just going to try these 2 songs in Nashville, which is what we did. And then after doing it, you know, you got to thinking about, hey, maybe we can make this a full extended album, or who knows, but we're excited. That's for sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. This is the same guy that saw y'all at the Battle of the Bands in Dallas, right? That y'all are working with, right? Am I right?
I don't know.
Brendan? Are you talking about Paul?
I think so. Yeah.
Paul.
No, this is a different guy.
Okay,
sorry.
Because I think that somebody did invite y'all to come out to record with them. Like, because they're like, you know, even if y'all don't win, I want y'all to come out and work with me.
Yeah, that kind of fizzled though. I'd say we tried to. I don't know what happened there.
I don't either.
It doesn't matter now because you guys are still doing great work, you know. So, you know, it's like COVID has really put a damper on everything, you know. And right now, you know, vaccines are happening right now. But I think that I was texting you guys and say, hey, this is like a prime example not to be, you know, lazy. And you guys haven't done that. You guys have still been working. So, you know, what is something that y'all looking forward to besides live music? But like, you know, what do you think is going to happen? Like when you start performing live, like more traveling or what's going on?
Man, it's hard to say, you know, because I think we had like 30 shows planned this year and they were all canceled. And then we tried to book a few more and most of them were canceled. So that part of my brain, I've kind of shut off as far as like thinking where to play next and where to book. And I've kind of put more of that energy into just songwriting. And so I don't know, it's whenever things open up again, it's just one of those things we may just kind of step into it casually. And in a selfish way, I've kind of enjoyed the downtime because we've just pushed so hard for so long. And I feel like now we can make albums without having to think, how did that go over live? Or who said this about that? We're just kind of like in that creative space and letting it go where it needs to go.
That was like, I'll say like 2020's had its down, don't get me wrong. But like the fact that we kind of got to step back and like the 2 songs, Not Ready and Stranger, they were pretty new to me. Shay had them for a minute working on both of them, but we've went to Nashville, solidified them with Morgan that night, and then recorded them the next day. And that was so different than how we had worked on No Fly Zone. Because like No Fly Zone, we had played those songs forever, other than like one or two of them. And it was so refreshing to have like all that show energy almost go into that right instead of being expended elsewhere. I don't know. It was pretty cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. And I think that on No Fly Zone, Tokyo was one song that we had never played live that we recorded, first before ever playing live. And getting a taste of that, I was like, man, I like this. Like, let's do a song we just kind of babysit this song and nurture it for a while and not care about anything else, just that song. And so maybe that after experiencing that with Tokyo, kind of got me thinking.
And that creative, on Tokyo, like what were they saying in Japanese at the very end? Because that was very creative. Throw that in there.
It's not as cool as it sounds.
I don't know.
Of course, I speak Korean, but I don't know much Japanese. But they're talking about their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, okay.
So,
and I was like, oh my god, that's so creative. I think y'all's creativity with the music makes you stand out, especially you on. I'm sure you're in just vocal range. I'm sure it was just like wow. Speaking of 2 more questions, I'll let you guys go. Let's start with Michael because I'm always picking on you first. All right.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
What's Michael Brown's favorite Shayliff song?
Oh, it's a song on the first album called Hello.
Okay. All right, Shay Bailiff.
Next question.
What's Shay Bailiff's favorite Shayliff song?
It'd have to be The One.
Nice.
Hey, that's mine too. Yeah, it's really my. I really thought I was the only person that really just dug The One that really saw how special that one is. But
it's fun, man.
It's one of my and
I was the opener for a minute.
Yeah, and my is there a recording of the live version of how y'all do Friends? Because y'all do it differently live than you just recorded.
Oh,
Maybe
that's a good question. I don't think that there is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's a very unique song too.
Talking about slow intro?
Yeah, the slow intro. Because
I don't think that's recorded anyway.
It's very slow, and then y'all just like hit it, but it's
kind of build it up.
Yeah, it's tight. And then Michael,
that's something we never thought about recording. That'd be a cool idea.
And then Michael, you do this weird thing with your guitar. I have no idea what the hell it is, but you do this weird thing with your guitar. I'm like, what is Michael doing?
That's it. It's just more weird things.
But it's cool though. Like I don't know. I'm not a guitarist. So I don't know what guitar lingo, whatever you're doing. But the way you do,
I don't know what he's doing either. I couldn't tell you.
It's like this little scratchy DJ type thing, whatever. But it's cool. But you guys, Michael, like I said, man, I've seen you all. I think one of the biggest critiques y'all had at one of y'all's competition was to get, I think, Michael more involved. And just to see you take that, I guess that's one of the criticisms. But to see you just grow
stage presence,
yeah. But even before that, man, you had the hair down over your face and nobody could see you. But no, just to see you like kill it, because I think music has layers, and I can just hear each individual playing. Like I can hear, back in the day, Jacob. With Raising Tom, I can hear his guitar as a bass riff, and like a lot of people don't utilize bass at all. And like now Morgan is taking the helm, and then you can hear Morgan on Dots and Lines, and so it's just you all are equally talented. If I would say anything, give Grayson maybe a drum solo, but he might never mind. He might get big headed after that and say.
Grayson's like our unsung hero because he's such a good drummer. He's such a solid foundation for us.
Yeah.
If he ever dropped out of the band, I'd be like, well, that's it. We've tried. We played with other drummers.
We're an acoustic guy.
I was like, dude, it just because he adds there's so much fill that he's doing. You don't realize. And then Morgan too, like stylistically, is more like kind of a drivey sound, and it was cool to watch him in Nashville really hone in on the recording side because he wanted to really spice it up, more so than what he's doing. So watching him grow as an artist too is neat.
I think you can, and with Morgan, if you don't know who Morgan is, period, you can just watch him play, and then that's Morgan. That's just his personality. Like what you see him on stage, that's Morgan's personality. And I love it. So last question for you guys, and this one give us a wrap up. Shay, why should people listen to Shayliff?
Man, I would hope that for people who have a desire and an urge to hear something that's you're gonna get something out of it. It's not just music that we've made to what's gonna appeal to this scene or who's gonna like this. You think that this would fit, record label like that? We're writing really from our soul, spilling our guts into this music, and it's obviously the albums that we've made, we spent years and years on because we want it to be something that we're proud of. And so I'd say, man, listen to us if you're just wanting to, get your blood pumping and get excited about, life and the things that we're saying. I'd like to think that each album will give you an experience the whole way through, as opposed to just songs thrown in there. We try to really, by the time you finish the album, you're like, man, what just happened? That's my goal.
Yeah.
Michael, same question.
I think there's something out there for just about anyone between the 3 records we do have. You were talking about earlier how you pick different parts out of a performance, and I think all 3 records reign true with that, whether it's, the falsetto Shay parts you're looking at, or if it's a bass part or the drums, like whatever it is. I really do think there are pieces of those, and lyrically, obviously, as well. There are songs, but I think there is something to hold on to in there across the board. It's 3 very different sounds, but like you said, it's not terribly similar across the board for a record. There's a vibe, but it still varies in there. And I think, I mentioned Hello earlier. It's pretty lax song, but it gets in there sometimes. It takes you places still. And I think that's a lot of our vibe, is to try to go somewhere with it, whether it's a soft song or a heavy song. We're wanting to take you somewhere with us. And I think that happens on the record too. I hope it does. So
it does. I mean, it does. It resonates. You make this big Dotson together made me cry. I ain't gonna lie. And when I hear it together, I'm like, man, that's just, like, dang it, Shay, why'd you write this song?
It's a good one, dude. I remember hearing that one.
It's a good one. I'm like, you can't tell me you don't hear that song and you kind of tear up a little bit. It gets you in your feels. And, I'm going to add my piece onto it. If you have not heard of Shayliff, make sure you tell your friends, you tell your mama, you tell your daddy, you tell your friends at work, because we need to get their music out, because it's music that needs to be heard. And, I think I was telling Haley this, I think you guys are just a sneeze away. You just need that one sneeze and no tissue in the way. Get all the germs on everybody.
We can get everybody to take their mask off and sneeze real quick. That'd be great.
That's right.
Sneeze real hard.
Spread that Shayliff
germs. But no, seriously, guys, you guys are phenomenal, talented. I've known you guys before you got married, before you had kids, and I really respect the men you've become. Yeah, even in Grayson and Morgan and Jacob as well. And Brendan and John and Tim too. Yeah. Gotta give everybody a shout out, especially Tim. So I went to high school with him, so just to see him working with y'all, I know that I think, and this is me being religious, I think God put y'all in a great winning situation right now. So definitely, y'all got my support here at the show. I would extend the invitation for you to come back on the show once y'all have a new album, so we can kind of talk about it and maybe get Morgan and Grayson if he's awake.
Absolutely.
Which because he's never asleep, I don't think. But before y'all go, just tell people how they can reach you on social media and maybe get some of your albums and listen to your music.
Yeah, we're on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Facebook. What am I missing? Amazon. we have hard copies too, but what's that? Yeah, Reverb Nation.
You said Reverb Nation the other day.
Yeah, we're on there,
Um,
social media. Just, anything - Shayliff, you can find us.
Reverb
If you're looking for a hard copy, shoot us an email.
He said
That's right.
Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation.
Hey,
It's
you know what?
it's like the Space Jam website. It's just there. Nobody edits it. It's just still there.
Yeah, for me, we have a straight up MySpace page because MySpace still exists. So we was like, you know what?
Nice.
Well, let's just be different and weird for a reason. This would be weird to get a MySpace.
It'll come back.
It'll come back one day. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, these wonderful guys out of Stonewall, Louisiana, and Louisiana, period. Shayliff. Big applause right here.
We appreciate you, Calvin.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, before y'all go, you want to give us a little something, play something for us, right?
Hey, that's what
That's
I
right.
hear. Stay tuned.
All right, here we go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Shayliff.